Well, good morning, all of you all on this very cold morning. I am sorry that we're not going to be meeting together this morning, but I think all in all, I'm glad I made the call. I know many of you are home with other distractions at home, and a synchronous Zoom altogether would have been challenging, I think. At any rate, this is where we are. So I want to tell you, first of all, I'm sharing the screen that shows the module where you'll find everything. And you've obviously already found the video. I'm going to be referring back to this. We're going to, just a couple of things to see. I will be using this SMART goal graphic in this video. And after we finish, after this video is over, kind of the next thing that you'll want to do is to go to this goals discussion. And I'll be coming back, and everything that I'm using you'll find in this video. And I want to start with this just to show you a little bit about, to bring in context and get an idea of where we are in our whole process. We've been using this particular graphic to show you to talk about appreciative inquiry and what we've been doing, all the discovery and the dreaming, the discovery of strengths and values. We haven't really gotten to community resources yet. We will be doing that next session. But you've been discovering, you've been excavating, as Heather always likes to say, what are your strengths? What are your values? And what do you dream about, or what do you think about when you say, this is really what I want my life and my career to look like? That was the discovery and dreaming phases. And none of this is strictly linear. They go back and forth. They obviously, you discover a lot as you're going along, and as you're dreaming, and your dreams change, and your vision changes. But you have written now your vision and your mission, and you have connected those to your strengths and your values. And we are to the place where we've got to, okay, so how do we make this happen? And that's the design phase. And primarily it is this bold goals and action plans. So we're starting today by thinking about what are the goals that I can articulate and be clear about that will help accomplish my mission, which then is obviously also connected to my vision. So we're on goals. So we want to ask that question, what makes a good goal? And I'm going to, in order to do that, I'm going to go to another graphic. I can find it. No, I want it to be here, here, here. Okay. We talk about goals being SMART goals, and we talk about goals being bold goals. We're going to be encouraging ourselves to do both SMART and bold goals. So what does SMART mean? And this is just an acronym. A lot of you have probably seen this before. You might have other ways of describing what a SMART goal is when you talk with yourself or your students or your kids. A SMART goal is specific. It's not a general, I want to be more fit, or I want to be more healthy. That's not specific enough. What does that look like? What are you defining as health? What are you talking about physical health? Are you talking about emotional, mental well-being? What do you mean when you say, I want to be more, that's a goal, is to be more healthy. So you've got to be specific. You want to know if you're talking about yourself, if you're talking about your students, if you're talking about your family, if you're talking about specific friends, what are your goals connected to, and where does all this happen? And probably most particular, the when is important, because that gets to our time, the T for time. They need to be time specified. And do this not just when is it going to happen, but how many times a week, how many when will I know that I have accomplished it? So all that specificity is really important in a goal. Measured, again, we know this when we're talking about assessing learning. if you don't somehow measure something, it doesn't become as important. So we don't necessarily have to think in terms of numbers. Numbers, of course, help, but measurement can be, how do we, I sometimes instead of measurable will say identifiable. How will I know that I've achieved it? What will it look like when I have achieved it? So your goal needs to be in some way measured, and you need to have a plan or a process or a way of thinking that keeps you paying attention to, how close am I to achieving that goal? Achievable is important. You don't want to be, I'm not going to say I'm going to climb Mount Everest, certainly not alone, certainly not without oxygen. But I want to have achievable goals that are maybe a stretch, but they're not impossible for me. They should be challenging, but not necessarily, but definitely not impossible. Relevant, and this has to do with, is your goal at all connected to your mission? So you want to be able to think in terms of that connection. You want to know, I'm not going to make a goal if it doesn't have anything to do with what I'm trying to do with my whole life. So goals need to be relevant. And then the timed is some sense of when is this going to get accomplished. So that's what a SMART goal is. What about a bold goal? What does a bold goal look like? I'm going to just do this and add a blank page before. So bold. It's not a cool acronym. Some of you creative people might be able to think of a cool acronym to say if it's bold, but I would say things that stretch you, that maybe it's more than what I can do if I just keep on doing what I'm doing. So it stretches you. It ups the challenge. So an example that I may use a little bit later might be, so I'll do a simpler concrete example. I might have a goal of walking more. Okay, I would have to make that specific. But if I said as a goal, I'm going to walk or use my Fitbit, and I'm going to say at least 10,000 steps every day. Okay, that actually right now is not a very bold goal for me because I already do 10,000 steps. And I have a pretty good streak of doing that every single day. So if I were going to make that a bold goal, I would up the number of steps. I would perhaps add something like, I'm going to walk, at least 2 days a week. I'm going to go 40,000 steps, or what, I don't know what the right number would be, but I would stretch myself to do more, not just what I'm currently doing, what my habit is every day. So goals that are gold. Here we go. Goals that are bold will stretch you and challenge you, and you got to really want them. Okay, it has to be something that a goal is. I'm going to say, in addition to SMART and bold, it has to be honestly yours. And we've been working enough about who we really are and what we really value that I think that that's not going to be too much difficulty for you to do that. Okay, so what you are wanting to do now is, let's go back to what the module looks like, is in the discussion. So your next thing is to actually write. We want you to write at least 3 goals. And let me go back to this page that I was working on before, so I forgot one thing that I wanted to tell you about. We are suggesting that you do think in terms of 3 categories. So 1 bold goal in each of 3 categories for right now, for this session. This is what we would have been doing in this session. So professional goals, So these could be your goals related to your research, your service, your leadership, your teaching. So something related, something in your professional goal, a bold goal there. Personal. So this might be related to your own personal well-being. It might be related to your family. It could be related to your to having balance. It could there anything that's that personal that is just really not necessarily connected to professional. Like I want to be a better teacher, that would be under professional, but that's personal. Maybe there's an avocation that you have that you really want to get. You want to keep on, you want to pick up a hobby that you used to have and you have let fall by the wayside. But so professional, personal, and then we add another one. This is a stretch also for, but most of us want to have a positive impact on not just our own selves, maybe not even just our family, but we want what we have, what we're working on and working with to have a positive impact on our society. Now you can think huge on that one, or you can, it might be something where you're just, where it is, it might not be unconnected to your professional and personal goals. There obviously will be some overlap, but it is that maybe it is your research. You want your research to you have the societal impact goal of, now let me think of a different example. If you have a goal that your students, for example, are good problem solvers, you might think about what kind of an impact could that have on society, and have a goal that's within that. But what it requires is intentionality. So I want to impact my society in this way. I want more people to engage in civic discourse in an effective problem-solving way. I'm trying to think of some that we've had other folks. I remember researchers that were working on environmental things. Well, I want I'd like to have an impact on my society on climate change. I want the work that I do to have a positive impact on climate change. Maybe that societal impact is really something you are just going to do individually, or maybe it is something that is connected to what you are teaching others to do or how you are encouraging other people. But think of it look back at your mission and think, what goal might I have related to my mission that could also be in this societal impact category. So in the discussion, that next discussion that we I need to go back here. Okay, in this discussion, in the goals discussion that I want you to have this done. I said this was asynchronous, but this is something that I'd like you to do it soon. If you're looking at watching this right now, now is a good time to do this. Whatever now means to you at this particular, while you're doing this, but you'll want to put your bold goals, write your goals in the chat, and then look at each other's and help each other evaluate whether or not they are both smart and bold. And any other conversation about goals in general and your own strategies for writing goals that you want to include here in this discussion, do that. So that's the first, that thus ends section 1 of this module. Back for another to start the concept map.